In the Middle Ages, instead of the glue, we used various natural substances. This is how animal glue and casein glue were created. Animal glue was made from collagen, which was extracted from the skin, bones, and cartilage of animals. These materials were boiled in water to extract the collagen. The resulting solution was then cooled and dried to form a solid adhesive. It was commonly used in painting and art restoration. Icon painters used it to prepare ground for painting. Violins and other strangled instruments were also often glued together with animal glue, since this made it easy to take them apart and repair them. Animal glue, or rather fat, was sometimes used to treat wounds, as it had antiseptic properties and aided healing. We'll return to medicine a little later. Casein glue was made from casein, a protein found in milk. Casein was mixed with water and alkali to form a sticky mass. Casein glue was stronger and more water-resistant. This made it perfect for use in construction woodworking. Some historical buildings glued together with casein glue are still standing to this day. It's said that casein glue was used in some of the elements of St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican, and also in the Notre Dame de Paris Cathedral. And it was also used in the Chartres Cathedral for decorative elements and wooden structures. You're watching this Maps TV channel, the most international channel in education, and today we'll be talking about the history of things we all know so well, yet their origins may truly surprise you. Paints. Hard to imagine, but egg yolk was used in painting and iconography for preparing tempera. More precisely, they were mixing yolk and pigments that served as paint. This technique was popular before the advent of oil paints and gave paintings vividness and longevity. Many famous works of art, icons, and frescoes were created using tempera: Virgin and Child with Two Angels, The Last Supper, The Battle of San Romano. But this egg yolk technique also had a disadvantage. Since such paint dried very quickly, the artists had to also apply it quickly to the canvas. But the colors were rich and long-lasting, remaining vivid after many years. To work with tempera, artists often used boards covered with a layer of primer, which provided a smooth and durable surface for paint application. And in icon painting, the use of egg yolk also had a symbolic meaning. The egg was considered a symbol of life and rebirth. Medieval artists also used minerals as paints. For example, deep blue paints were obtained from lapis lazuli, a precious stone mined in Afghanistan. This ultramarine was more precious than gold, making it a symbol of wealth and status. Artists used ultramarine sparingly, often at the request of wealthy patrons. To create bright scarlet shades, cinnabar was used, a mineral also called mercurblende. It is a mineral containing mercury and sulfur. Of course, the material was toxic, so to some extent the trade of a medieval artist was dangerous. The indigo color was made from plants of the genus Indigofera and was used to create shades of blue and purple. Indigo was popular in the textile industry for dyeing fabrics and clothing, and its production was an important economic factor in various regions. The purple pigment was obtained from the mucus of mollusks. Producing purple was a labor-intensive and expensive process, therefore it was accessible only to the upper strata of society, and the purple color itself symbolized power and wealth. By the way, have you noticed that there is no country whose flag uses purple? This is also due to the high cost of purple dye. We even have a whole separate video about the absence of purple on flags. I recommend watching it, the link is in the description. Many of medieval artists and craftsmen were also alchemists who had to study the properties of materials and their interactions to create new pigments and improve old ones. Recipes for making paints were often passed down generations in the form of secret knowledge that was thoroughly protected. Paints were stored dry and mixed with a binder immediately before use, which required high qualification from the artists and knowledge of the chemical properties of materials. Paper and writing instruments. In the Middle Ages, paper was made from linen and cotton rags, which were ground up and left for fermentation, then pureed and formed into sheets. Wet sheets were pressed and dried, then coated with gelatin or starch to increase strength. Ink was created from soot, resin, and water. Iron gall ink was made from iron salts and oak gall. This gave them their characteristic dark color. They wrote with quills, bird feathers, most often geese or swans, which were caught and fired to make them harder. Parchment, used for books and official papers, was made from leather of calves, sheep or goats, which was cleaned, stretched and polished until smooth surface. Monks in monasteries decorated manuscripts, sometimes creating masterpieces which were considered works of art. For example, the Celtic Book, created by the Celtic monks in 800 AD. These are the 4 Gospels of the New Testament written in Latin. The book itself is decorated with complex patterns intertwined with images of people, animals, mythological creatures, and Celtic motifs. These illustrations are made with such skill and craftsmanship that many researchers consider the Celtic Book to be a masterpiece of the medieval art. Right now, the book is kept in the Trinity College in Dublin. A bit more about paper. The first paper mills in Europe appeared in the 12th century in Spain thanks to the Arabs who adopted the technology from the Chinese. Paper was an expensive material, so scribes wrote in small handwriting and sometimes reused pages. Important documents and letters were often sealed with wax seals. And books were so valuable that they were chained in libraries. Hygiene products. Most common body wash was water with the addition of herbs and aromatic substances that were considered to have cleansing properties and had a pleasant smell. As for oral hygiene, oak bark and herbs such as mint or chamomile were used for plaque prevention and breath freshening. But also some cultures also used elm bark, which has antiseptic properties. For washing hands, they used soap that was made from animal fat and alkaline salts. And in Rus, ashes and hydrochloric acid were used to wash hands. In this way, not only dirt was removed but bacteria too. As for making deodorants and antiperspirants, various herbs and spices were used: lavender, rosemary, and cedar oil. Sometimes amulets and pendants containing aromatic scents were used to mask unpleasant odors. For hair care, they made extracts of herbs and plants like chamomile and nettle, which gave hair strength and shine. Some people still use these traditional methods in our time. Medieval cities had public baths where people could fully wash and carry out the necessary body care procedures. Already back then, there were places not just for hygiene procedures, but also for hanging out with friends. Wealthy people could have their own bath in their houses. This was especially common among the nobility and the rich city dwellers, but in rural and remote areas, many were limited to simpler hygiene practices. One couldn't take a steam bath there. Some men wore long beards to hide lack of proper hygiene. Castles had entire bath chambers for receiving guests and even holding important negotiations. In medieval cities, baths were often used by men and women at the same time. The church condemned this practice but was unable to eradicate it. In the 16th century, with accordance to royal decrees, baths and steam rooms began to close throughout Europe, since at that time plague epidemics were raging and the bathhouse was one of the places where one could easily get infected. Also check out our series about living in castles. They're available on our channel, so links to the videos will be in the description. Medicines. Getting sick in the Middle Ages was extremely undesirable. Most medicines included various herbs and plants. For example, mint was used to relieve pain, lavender as a sedative, garlic was used as an antiseptic, field horsetail was used as a wound-healing agent. If someone broke their leg, they gave him mint for pain and lavender to calm them down and stop them from screaming in excruciating pain, and also gave them an amulet so that they wouldn't break anything next time. Yeah, people made amulets with the purpose so as not to get sick or break anything. Tin, lead, and other metals were used to treat diseases. Lead paste was used to treat skin diseases. Animal products were also a type of remedy. Honey had been used as an anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial agent, and the animal fat and glue, which we've just talked about, to relieve pain and heal wounds. Interestingly, alchemical and astrological approaches to medicine also existed in the Middle Ages. Alchemists were trying to find the philosopher's stone, which was believed to be able to heal any illnesses and grant immortality. They were also developing complex recipes based on herbs and minerals. And astrology was used to diagnose and treat diseases, assuming that the position of the planets and stars influenced people's health. Doctors were putting together their patients' horoscopes to determine the best time for treatment and surgery. Particular attention was paid to the four elements and their balance in the body, as well as the influence of zodiac signs to certain parts of the body. Friends, if you enjoyed the video, like it, write a comment, tell us what facts, events or people you would like to learn about. This will help us make the best content for you.